Wars fam? Star Wars Dad back for another video. Sorry I have not made a video this week. It was just Mother's Day and family stuff, and just needed to take a little break from constantly making videos in my free time, which is very little. But this deck is awesome. So I definitely wanted to do a video about this deck. Before we get into today's video, please make sure to check out my Patreon, where we have over 100 deck lists at this point and are building a great community with giveaways and all sorts of additional content. And please make sure to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel to grow. And make sure to sign up for the 4,500 subscriber giveaway, where I'll be giving away 3 prestige foils to 3 lucky winners. So to get into today's video, so Darth Maul is one of the new leaders from Legends of the Force. Its action ability says use your Force token, deal 1 damage to a unit and 1 damage to a different unit. So that ability in itself is amazing. So let's just talk about that for a second. So my thinking coming into this and this build, particularly, I'm sure there's going to be other ways to build this leader. My particular thinking was, okay, if I can ping 2 things most turns because I'm able to activate the Force with my base pretty regularly, as long as I'm attacking with Force units, then I want to use cheap removal that can finish things off. So that is why we are playing 3 Daring Raids, 3 Force Lightnings, and 3 Force Throws. Force Lightning is finally playable. That card, I've been waiting for this card to be playable. It is finally playable, and it is amazing to play this card on a regular basis and it be huge as far as the momentum of the game in so many games. Just to be able to take out leaders so easily for like 4 or 5 resources just on queue, to finish things off easily, to cancel out abilities on certain cards. Like, it's just amazing having that card in here. But that was my original thinking, is to use like really, really cheap removal combined with Darth Maul. Obviously, there's other builds where you can just like spread out even more damage, but because we want to have the Force ability activated and use a lot of these really sweet units from Legends of the Force that come into play and do things, or have when defeated effects that do things, it really sets up a lot of knockouts with these cheap pieces of removal. So, it's definitely more of a unit-focused build. We have, I think it's 34 units in here. So definitely want to establish Force units early on at turn 1. You could play even more Force units on turn 1 that I am playing, but so far it's felt good where I'm at. I did have to kind of add in some more top end stuff because I felt like I was a little too heavy on early Force units when I first was building this. But I could still see the argument to play more of those. Maybe to go up to 11 to 12. But I would substitute. That's still, this is still a work in progress. But so far, this deck has been awesome. So we're playing the 3 Daring Raids. It's just an easy way to finish things off. A lot of times, with some of our units, when our opponent interacts with them, or we interact with our units, or our opponent's units, I'm sorry, we are setting up a lot of Daring Raid knockouts in combination with Darth Maul's ability. So Daring Raid is just very, very good in here. Force Lightning is amazing because of the Force Energy, because of the ability to do a lot of damage on queue. Like, doing 6 damage to any particular unit for 4 resources is very, very strong. 8 damage for 5 resources. It's just nuts. So Force Lightning is just amazing. Also, losing its abilities against a lot of these cards that have different effects is also amazing. So Force Lightning is so much fun. I'm so glad that it's playable now. I will be all of my favorite decks from this set are going to have Force Lightning in it. I can just tell you right now. Force Lightning and Force Throw. Force Throw, of course, is just a given. We already knew it was going to be even better this set, but it absolutely and it fits the theme of what we're doing in here, doing damage to things for cheap, and then finishing off and setting up knockouts with Darth Maul. So Acolyte of the Beyond is one of the new cards. It is not a Force unit, but its ability is just so good that I don't see why not to play it. The only downside is that you can't play a Force Lightning or Force Throw on turn 2. So that's one of the arguments why you might want to play like a Kylo Ren or something else in that slot. But so far, I've been going with this. The Fallen Lightsaber is a card that is a big maybe card for me in this list. It does fit the theme of spreading damage, so I've kept it in here for now, but that's maybe a slot where you could put in like a couple of Kylo Ren. The only problem is Kylo Ren needs upgrades to benefit off its ability, so you could also play I think there's one other force unit. It's like a 1/3 that comes in hidden for one resource, which is not a bad option either, because then you can immediately play Force Throw or Daring Raid alongside it. So Acolyte of the Beyond is really sweet because when it's defeated, you create the forces with you, or on attack, you create the forces with you. So it's doing the same things that the Shadowed Undercity does with the other units. So for me, it just made sense, especially because it's when defeated ability. So because a lot of times your opponent's going to know what you're trying to do. You're trying to activate, Shadowed Undercity and get your force stuff online, but it's a good turn one because if they kill it, it's going to do the same thing anyways. So uh, Karis is the next one. It's a very, very, very good turn one card. It's a 2/4. It already has amazing stats, and then its ability is just great. So you attack him with this card. A lot of times you're using it to kill itself, so that you can minus 2/2. Uh, but when you don't, you can pick and choose a time when you want to use that minus 2/2 ability by attacking into something and setting up your knockouts with Darth Maul and your daring raids. So Karis is just so good in here, especially with all the removal that we have. Obviously, another one I haven't mentioned yet is Force Choke only being one resource in this deck the majority of the time for 5 damage to a ground unit. Again, that is just amazing. But Karis is just such a fun card. Being able to like kill something on the ground, and then if it dies, kill something in space, or give something in space minus 2/2 to either weaken it or set it up for a Darth Maul knockout after you attack in. All sorts of things you can do with that card. Just a really fun card. A lot of the cards in here are just so much fun, and this deck just does a great job of keeping your opponent's units off the board. The next one is the Night Sister Warrior. It's a 2/2 force unit, so good. Just another good turn one card. And again, when it's defeated, you get to draw a card. So at the very least, you're drawing a card if your opponent takes it out right away or daring raids it or whatever. But it's just another way to get your force activated online. I've kept that in here just because I feel like against mid range and control, it's good, and it's come up in handy a lot because it has good synergy with Marin. Because Marin, a lot of times, I want to use its ability to snipe things in space or set up knockouts for that extra 2 damage that Marin does. So having that additional card from Night Sister is very good to have discard fodder with Marin in particular. Then the next one is Drain Essence. So this is a good turn one play. We can do 3 damage essentially to a unit on turn one if that's the only card that we have that we can play on turn one. So we do deal 2 damage, activate the forces with you, and then use Darth Maul's ability to do 3 damage to a turn one unit. So that is a very strong card in here. It's just also a really nice way to get the forces online when we need to. Force Choke, of course, gets even better in here because it's going to be one resource the majority of the time that we use it. The 3 Fang Fighter is just a very hard counter to upgrades because I feel like upgrades are probably one of our biggest weaknesses in this deck. Is just because we're not playing like our big removal in the main, like we're not playing Power of the Dark Side, which you could for Fallen Lightsaber, I would say. We're also not playing No Glories in the main board, but you could also do that. Again, this is still an early rough draft, but disabling Fang Fighter is just a strong way to deal with those things. It's come in handy in a lot of games. Like, with all these force units, I feel like disabling Fang Fighter is going to be a main board card because everyone's going to be trying to play lightsabers. And then on top of that, you already have the pilot mechanic. So just upgrades in general are going to be everywhere. And then you have the new Kanan Jarrus leader that's going to be putting shields. So getting rid of shields so that you can ping things easier and set up your knockouts better. So disabling Fang Fighter just all around fits the theme of what this deck wants to do. It prevents our opponent from getting too overpowered with one particular unit that gets out of range for our damage. And you'll see in some of these games how amazing disabling Fang Fighter has been. Fifth Brother, again, fits the theme. It's a force unit. It pings things, it removes shields, and it gets stronger. It can get up to 5 damage. Also, it's a very strong Fallen Lightsaber target because of the synergy it has with Fallen Lightsaber. Same with Marin. Marin is just very, very strong. That card continues to impress me. At first glance, you're like, yeah, it's a 2/5, it can do 2 damage, but you have to discard a card. But in this particular build, there are so many times when an extra 2 damage just really comes in handy. Just removes things in space, sets up knockouts on bigger units on the ground, sets up knockouts for Force Choke in particular, or Force Lightning even. And the fact that you don't have to spend a resource to do it is very strong. Fallen Lightsaber, like I said, it's a maybe card. Most games that I've played so far have not used it against real people. So that would be a card where, like I said, you might want to play like another Force unit, one of the either the Kylo Ren or the one drop. You might want to play like Power of the Dark Side. It's a flex spot. I think I'm keeping it in here for now, but I am definitely unsure at this point. Uh, Next is Darth Tyrannus. That card is so sweet because once your Force is online, then you can ambush it in, whether with the shield or without the shield. And again, that's setting up knockouts. A lot of times it's killing things with 5 HP because of Darth Maul's ability, and we don't actually use the Force token when it ambushes in. So that is what makes it incredible for like ground heavy decks. Talzin's Assassin, of course, is so good, and the fact that it is not a unique card is even better because you can play multiples, and so it's a card that again, it just this is a very much a tempo deck, right? Like we are playing units and removing our opponent's units for very little cost while gaining board advantage. And Talzin's Assassin is one of those cards that just does this by itself. We set up knockouts and then we do -3/3 on a unit to either get it in range for one of our cheap pieces of removal or set up a Darth Maul ping. It's also very, very strong when Darth Maul is out there as well. Again, it's also going to set up things like Force Choke because Force Choke is only one resource. So at 5 resources, we could play that -3/3 on something and then get it into Force Choke range. So things like that are it's just so good. It also is great at removing things in space or weakening things in space to get them in range to be removed or just to outright remove them, which is also what Anakin is doing in here. Old Daka is another card that I am not as much of a maybe card as Fallen Lightsaber, but in all the games I've played so far, it has not come into play and been that effective. And that's one of those cards where I want to play it because it's a Force unit. It's a strong, it's a 6/6. It has synergy with our Force Knight units. So like our Karis, our Knight system, it just hasn't come into effect yet where it's been like a big thing. So that's just one I'm kind of maybe we'll get more Force Knight units where it becomes even better. But for now, it's in here. But its one played ability allows you to defeat a friendly Knight unit, and then you can play that unit from your discard pile for free. So essentially, it gets to activate one of their when defeated effects, like for Karis or for Night Sister Warrior, and then you get to play it for free. It's also a way to just like protect the unit because you can put it in your discard pile to prevent it from dying and then pull it back. So it does have some really cool. It's a really cool ability. It's just I think so far in gameplay for me it hasn't come up, but I could definitely see that card getting better and better and better as more Force Knights are revealed. Such a cool ability, so we'll see what happens. Anakin, I originally had three of them in here just because I love what it does, but two has been fine because I like the diversity of having these other 3 cards that are coming after Anakin, just to have more top end cards. And sometimes Anakin's ability isn't enough for that cost at 6 cost. And since we're not playing it in like, Chancellor Palpatine, it's not doing -6/6 in a deck like this. There's an argument that you could play like a hero card in here to make Anakin better, but it's still very strong as the -3/3 as a pseudo Luke Skywalker. But again, it's fitting the theme. It's setting up our knockouts with our cheap pieces of removal, especially because it comes out on the turn when Darth Maul is out. So oftentimes, what happens on that turn when we play an Anakin is that we'll use Darth Maul's action ability first, then we'll attack him with one of our units that's on board, then we'll play Anakin, or we may play Anakin first, depending on what the board state is, and then we flip Darth Maul and we can finish off whatever Anakin has weakened. So, just a very good card here. Count Dooku is great because we can play it as early as turn 4 to remove things. And again, it's fitting that theme of damaging things to finish them off. 2 has been good for me because, for one, it's a good 4-star target to do 8 damage out of nowhere for 1 resource. So that is amazing. But also just, I'm not always wanting to exploit my units because of the Force synergies. So it's more of a card I play typically around 6, 7 resources and exploit something and finish off a unit so that I'm not like completely wiping my own board for a 6/6. But it's still been a great card in here. Emperor's Palpatine is going to be one of our other top end cards that comes in and just finishes things off. Uh, and since I've added Palpatine and Avenger, this deck has felt much more well rounded against a diverse set of opponents. So that's been good. And then the two Avengers, kind of our closer. We're playing a couple of Crate Dragon in the sideboard for more mid range and control. The No Glories are coming in against more mid range and control. The top targets are coming in against more aggressive opponents that could still potentially run us over. And a couple of Pillage for more mid range and control. Again, this is a rough draft, but this is a good starting point. I would love to hear how other people are playing this deck, as well as the new Mother leader. I think they're very similar because that one is a blue leader and you're playing the red base that activates the force. So you're playing a lot of the same cards, but I would love to hear what people are coming up with their builds. Mother, of course, does the -1/1, which is sweet, and then gives a unit -1/1 when on attack. So, personally, for me, I've always loved decks that ping. So far, I have preferred Maul, but I think both leaders are very strong. We're going to see a lot of them being played. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, let's get into a few games and see how this deck performs. All right, no mulligan. Trying to think what we want to do here. Um, Fangfighter could be. Fangfighter could be useful against this deck. There's a chance they play some lightsabers, but it's also a presence in space. Um, Anakin is a ways off. Let's just go here. Okay, well that's a card. Doing 2 damage to it doesn't do anything. I like Oldaka. This removes an upgrade. Force Lightning isn't bad. What are the chances that we play the Fang Fighter? That's the issue that I'm coming across now. Is like, am I going to play that card this turn, or is it just going to be a card that I don't necessarily need? Because I have a lot of power in my hand, so we're just going to go there. Yeah, and immediately I yeah, we're just going to use Darth Maul's ability. Get that off the board immediately. The Hotshot Blaster would have been solid. Okay. Uh, Gotta get a unit on board. We're about to be at Old Daka. I don't want to get rid of the Fallen Lightsaber. Force Lightning is good too. I mean, it's a 6/6 unit. I'm trying to save the lightsaber for one of these units. Cannot find a lot of cheap units. I hate to let go of the lightsaber, but I feel like we're not going to be using it. We're just going to be playing units. Yeah. Yeah, Force Choke. Okay, Kylo Ren's an easy resource since it doesn't work yet. Taking 3. It's pretty good that we're at the 5 resource and there's been no damage. Uh, he's playing a lot of shielded units. Once he flip 5, let's just get, he's a 3/6. Let's just attack in. To bait out that, yep. What you want to pay, we're going to do 3. Include the base cost of 4. Go ahead and take that card out. Came in handy. Can ping away the Fleet Defender if we want, plus something else potentially. Or just immediately play Anakin and make that a 3/3. That seems better. Let's make sure we have a black card in there. Yep. Okay. That's nice. There's that card that we were thinking about, right? That's fine. We can bait it out. I don't care if he trades with us. He's going face, okay. Um, do we want to kill Zuckuss? They're both 6/6s, so definitely not great. What's our next move? We can kill something with that next turn. Okay. Let's do our damage. Go here. Did it not do the damage to 7th Fleet Defender yet? And here. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, I think we're gonna let old Daka go. We can use Daring Raid and Force Choke to finish off their board. Sabling Fang Fighter is pretty useful here. To see what he does, though. We take a lot more damage here. Yeah, I mean, 4-Lum and Zuckuss are hard to deal with, regardless. Shoot first. That's definitely a good card. Okay. So we take 3. Are we force choking for 1 or are we -3? I think we have to just trade this just to kill us. What does that do? Okay. Attack in, kill that and that. And then we can completely wipe his board with our cards. So we can force choke Daring raid. Pass. I think we're good. Another Fang Fighter's not bad. Okay, Zuckus. Um, Good game. Yeah, I was gonna say we have 13 damage, so that is lethal. But that was a good one. So those cheap pieces of removal came in handy, and choosing to keep Darth Maul alive. Such a fun one. All right. Yeah, we're gonna mulligan that hand. That's not a hand that makes me excited. This one's a little better. Definitely Palp's got to go, and then I really need to play unit next turn. Fallen Lightsaber could be good, but they probably play Waylay, so probably not. We're going first, correct? And unfortunately, we don't have a unit, so we need to pass and see if we can take something out. Okay. Another Fang Fighter. I think we're gonna drop down Mirren here. I like the different varieties of removal that we have. He claimed the initiative. Let's see what he does. Sneak attack, okay. 5/4 Jedi Sentinel. Um, that's interesting. So we're gonna take 5. I mean, I really don't want Mirren to die. I want to establish a force unit. We can't do 4 damage off of 1. You said you wouldn't power the dark side of my unit, would you? I would in the side. Let him know. What just happened? How did he... Oh, he still had 1 unit left. Okay. Interesting. Good thing is we have a lot of answers for this. We don't need that card. Okay, so we can literally, because we have extra cards, we can literally kill both of his units right now. So we're gonna do that. And then, yes, we're gonna discard. I don't want to keep discarding Fang Fighters, especially because it's the only unit we have on board. But see what he does. Want to keep my removal though. Okay, so that's a Sentinel. We can force throw his hand, see what we can get him to do, and respond. So just the 1 damage, okay. We can still kill this unit, which is fine. I think it's worth it. Is it worth it? Yeah, well, no, I'm sorry, we could just do this. And then do that. And then we can do this and regain the force. Sweet. Up to 5. Probably gonna let Karis go. We did. Okay. Sure. It's a good find for him. Can do 1 damage, get him to 3. 5 Acolyte. Or just Daring Raid plus Acolyte. Um, Daring Raid plus Acolyte, I think, is better. Just want to save the Fang Fighter. Okay. That's such an interesting card. Play a non that costs less than return unit from your hand for free. That's pretty cool. Does Daring Raid do us anything here? Not if he keeps Plo Kooning us, right? Yeah, it's kind of annoying, right? Palpatine's a good card, so is Force Lightning. I really hate to get rid of Disabling Fang Fighter at this point. We know Plo Koon's coming. Can't Force Lightning yet until we have Maul out. I think Daring Raid is less impactful here. Okay, so let's what does Luke do again? Oh, that's pretty nice. Okay. When's this flip? 6? Let's go ahead and flip. Do you want to flip? No. Let's do the damage thing. So he's gonna give a shield to Luke, right? Okay. That Daring Raid would have been nice, right? Would have been. Would have been. That's okay. Let's just pull this out. Take the 3 from Plo Koon if it's what happens. Puts the shield on Luke. And a Fallen Lightsaber would be nice right about now. That Fallen Lightsaber that we resourced early on. Okay. I think we're just Force Lightning to take out. He's trying to kill this, which is not going to happen. So we're going to do 5. Take that out. Okay. Okay. So we're going to kill this. Take 3. It's unfortunate, right? There's nothing we could do about that. We can't. He's not going to get the Plo Koon right now. We're going to go face. We need to kill the Luke, yeah. Oops, that's not right. Who are we attacking? We're attacking Luke. Sure, we knew that was coming anyways. And that Daring Raid would have been really nice to have last turn for sure. That was the card we wanted, right? This is getting tough because we definitely want Palpatine next turn. But I think we need the Force Throw. We know Darth Maul's gonna die. That is not the issue. Okay. We can't even do that thing. So let's go here. Yep. Okay, we're gonna do opponent. We're gonna get one of those big things from his hand. Take 3 damage. That's nice. Okay, palp, palp, palp. All those cards are good. What do we do here? Hmm. That's tough. Very tough. Palp is the obvious choice. Especially his force throw. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. That worked out okay. Okay. That's a good card. These are all good cards, so we're just gonna hold our hand. We're gonna play this to take out that. Yes. Is this where we turn the corner? Maybe? Might be. Oof. It's not letting me do it again. It keeps lagging. All right. So we are going to attack in with Palp, get the force back, and then we're gonna play probably this to draw some more cards. And I think this is where we turn the corner. Just got him with card advantage. We'll see though. It's not over yet. We have still not done any damage to them. Okay. I mean that's a card, right? Um, how do we want to deal with that card? uh, we could do this plus force choke. Let's just do this. Get him into force choke range. Okay. Either way, he's dead. Um, I just hate to give him another card. Could kill him with Palp. We could also kill him by attacking in here. Yeah, and then pinging with our guy. Yeah, let's do that. Um, let's go here. Let's do damage, damage. Let's attack in. Let's play this guy, and let's pass. Dooku is nice. Very good find. Gonna pass again. I'll say this, Maul is definitely a fun leader. I definitely needed to add Palpatine, though. That was a big add. Um, we could kill this, right? Pretty easily. It's at 4. We could also discard, discard, and do... Yeah. Just discard that. Just kill this thing. 5. Okay. Takes 2. We daring raid it and boom it. Okay. Okay, we're gonna add. Oh, we could also just kill it there with the 6/6, which isn't bad. Um, I'm okay with that, I guess. Oops. I didn't realize that was a sentinel. That's okay. I didn't realize that was a sentinel. It's okay. There's a good card. And that's why it's in here. Change of heart, okay. Sure. Yes. That definitely was a good draw and a misplay by me. All right, good game. Good one. No mulligan. I think we're gonna drop Avenger. I like the removal. I like the force interaction. This is probably the Fang Fighter. Just he comes out on 6, right? Double red means like just interesting. So definitely Avenger. This is gonna be good against them, especially because they come in damaged. So I think it's these two. Okay. Well, that's a good card, isn't it? It's a very good card. Swing in for 3 immediately. But we can ping that with Maul. So Maul's gonna be good against this deck, most likely. He's deciding to hit himself here. Interesting. So he didn't go for the thing. Okay, we got another one. That's tough. I feel like Force Throw is actually gonna be pretty solid here. Um, another Fang Fighter to go. Hope he doesn't have removal. Oof. Okay. Um, so what do we do here? We force lightning. So we're gonna take a good amount of damage here. Next turn we can kill him with force lightning. Okay. So we're gonna take 6 ping here. Okay. He can also deal 2 damage to this thing. So we could hit him for 4, and it puts him in an odd position where he has to decide if he wants to attack. Either way, we can take this out next turn for 3 resources. Let's just go wide, and then we'll do it next turn. We're going to take a lot of damage here. That's actually really strong. But, yeah, pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. Yeah, taking 13 damage is a lot. Um, we also have this, which is sweet. To extend our board, we drew a card which has good synergy with Marin, so I think we're just going to play here and do -3/3, which is not enough, so unfortunately you have to force lightning for 3 resources. The good thing is that we still have enough resources to still play Force Choke or Force Throw, depending on what he does. Can also discard with Marin. Probably Fifth Brother. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Puts him in an awkward situation. Okay, he claimed the initiative, so we're gonna force throw. So he can't do the Vader thing again. That's a good card too. Yeah. So we're just gonna kill that and pass. I didn't actually need to do that, but discarding is not bad against it. I could have just used um, Darth Maul's ability there. Same thing again. But now we can just play this, right? Yeah, what this deck is trying to do is just do a good job of keeping everything that our opponent does off the board, and then we try to get to our big stuff later. Um, he's flipping here. He's gonna have 6. Force choke will be nice. So will this. This isn't bad, as we can hit it for 4. Either way, we're gonna force choke. I think this gives us a more diverse board state. We can also just attack into him. Darth Vader as a 7/7, okay. Hmm. We could absolutely kill Darth Vader. Yeah, we can discard Palpatine, do 2, have 4, then go in with um, Assassin and finish it off. And then he plays this, we force choke it and kill it. Okay. Yeah, because he's going to try to activate it, correct? Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Yes, that's what we're going to do. Actually, no, let's do that backwards. Let's not do that. There's a different way to do this. We can play this first. Make it a 3/3 or 4/4, right? Yes. Then we can do the thing and not lose our Marin. Or we could just force choke it since he did that. Okay. Well, that's nice. Look at that combo. And now we get to keep our boy. Let's just do here and here. And then, yeah, we kind of take over. So I think we're just getting rid of Daring Raid here. Since we can keep Palp now. Force Choke is still going to be really good against Inquisitor. This deck is so much fun. I am having a blast. The biggest thing I did in the last couple of games here is I added in Palpatine and Avenger because we were needing some top end cards. That was one of our weaknesses early on with playtesting this, but since I have done that, it has felt amazing. We're using a lot of cheap removal, like Daring Raids, Force Chokes, Force Lightnings. Force Lightning's been amazing in here, and even the new card that does 2 damage gives us the Force. And then we have cards like Talzin's Assassin, Anakin, Palpatine, just so many cool things that, like you saw there, where we did the Assassin to make the Darth Vader weaker and set it up into Force Choke range. Um, yeah, so usually our opponents are going to get anywhere from 10 to 20 damage on us before we just. The idea is, at least optimally, the game plan is to let them get around 10 to 20 damage while we continue to remove threats. And then because of our cards like this that come in and remove things or set up removals, then we can gain board advantage. And once we have gained enough board advantage, then we just take over the game. So it's just a lot of fun. This deck is awesome. It's going to be an awesome deck in the next set. All right. So we have turn one Night Sister, and then we have basically we need this card to survive. Otherwise, our cards become not that great. So it's kind of risky. We could play Dooku on 4 if we have another unit. I don't know. Feels like a risky keep. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's a good find. So now we get to draw a card even if they have a way to kill this right away, like a Daring Raid or something. Okay. So now we can ping plus Force Lightning, which is good. Okay. Take 6, but we have a couple options here. Okay, so let's just... Yeah, I don't want to take 6 again, so... Draw a card and remove their threat. Okay, another Avenger. I really don't want to get rid of that against a deck like this. Um, yeah, I'm gonna hold on to that as long as I can. Okay, HK47. I think we're gonna go here and go double force throw. I think it's a good time. Okay. Yeah, because we're just completely emptying their hand here. That was for 2 damage. Yeah, we'll set up the knockout. And 5 damage. Feels like a good turn to me. Here we're going to play Dooku plus Force Choke, I think. I think we're just going to hold on to the Avenger, like I said. Okay. We're going to go in here. See what our opponent does. Okay. Play Darth. He flips on 5. Pass. Okay, he's not expecting that. So we're going to go. And then we'll take our 3 and Force Choke. And our opponent's done. Good game. He's had enough. Didn't like that 1 cost Force Choke. But this is kind of similar. This plays out similar to how all of our other matchups, right? Like we just, our board advantage becomes too much. Maybe he just got frustrated there, I don't know. But yeah, we're just holding out for Avenger since we already resourced 1. And then we flip Darth Maul next turn, and he's, we already kind of obliterated his hand with Force Throw, so good game, good game. Another good one.